All right, what is up, YouTube? Today, I'm kind of wanting to go over the mods on this Corvette, how fast it was before, how fast it was after, and breaking down the cost of it so you guys can kind of understand realistically how fast you can get one of these cars before you're completely ran out of money and your wife finds out. All right, so to get just right into it, this is an LS2 6-speed automatic car whenever I bought it, and it was completely stock. And for a baseline reference, I ran in the quarter mile a 1264 at 114, I think. I will put a screenshot of it into this video. And my 60 to 130 was 11.95. So honestly, 11.95, 60 to 130, 12.6 in the quarter. Pretty stout for a stock street car, especially one that's nearing 20 years old. And I was pretty impressed with it for a baseline setup. All right, so the first serious modification that I did to this car to pick up a decent amount of power was put Speed Engineering headers, their X-pipe. I also used their spark plug wires. I used all their clamps. I used their ARP header bolts and their gasket, and I put Corsa mufflers on it. If I remember correctly, the headers, the X-pipe, everything ran me about $650 to $700 out the door, so it was pretty moderately priced. The Corsa mufflers, on the other hand, I won't talk about because my old lady watches these videos. So regardless, Corsa mufflers were expensive, but we put headers on the car and it made a night and day difference in performance. After headers, a tune, and I did at the time have a Veyron cold air intake. This thing went from doing a 12.6 at 114 mile an hour. 114 mile an hour is important for you guys that don't know. That kind of explains how much power the car was putting out. It started running a pretty consistent low 12 at 118 to 119 mile an hour in the quarter and would run about a 10.4 or 10.5, 60 to 130. I'll add a picture of the draggy clip below. So being able to pick up 4 mile an hour in the quarter mile is pretty impressive for no more than what I did, and it was a great pickup for only having $700 in exhaust if you didn't want to buy Corsa mufflers. The next thing that I did was I bought this fast LSXR 102 millimeter intake manifold, which is specifically for an LS2 because they do have the more pore flowing intake. The LS3 doesn't necessarily need it for most applications. But this I did buy brand new, and it did cost me $1,100. And while I had it apart, I put new spark plugs in. I think I did a thermostat at the same time. So I did have about $1,300 in that setup, but it did take me from running 10.4, 10.5, 60 to 130 to 10.1 and 10.2. So I did knock another tenth off. I picked up about a mile to a mile and a half in the quarter mile and very similar DA. So for another $1,300, I did squeeze out a little bit of a faster time. Now, obviously, the big jump from doing, 10-second 60 to 130s and doing 119 mile an hour in the quarter was the Procharger upgrade. The Procharger upgrade made a huge difference in this car, night and day difference. Even on 93 octane, this thing was running 125 mile an hour in the quarter and running 8.6, 8.7, 60 to 130 in a normal 70-degree day. As you can see here, the car is flex fuel, and on ethanol in good DA, I did run in about 55-degree weather. I did 128 or 129 in the quarter. I will add the picture right here. And I pretty consistently can do an 8.1 or an 8.0, but I have done a 771, 60 to 130. So obviously the Procharger is the most expensive piece, and I will get into that to another video, but I did only pay $3,000 for this kit as it was a used kit off of an LS3 car, so I don't have a ton of money into this setup at all. So essentially, if you're only counting engine modifications and no supporting additions, I had $700 in exhaust, $1,300 for the intake and everything, $3,000 for this. I did have $1,700 in fuel pumps. So for $5,000 to $6,000, if you did every single bit of it yourself, you could have a moderately fast street car. Now, obviously, there was a lot of other things because it's, the whole, while I've got it apart, so I put a catch can on it. I put a new water pump on it. I did several new gaskets, radiator hoses. Obviously, you got to buy a new belt, brackets, things of that nature. It does add up, but I don't have any $15,000 into this setup. This is a very affordable street car setup, and 90% of it was done in my garage with me and my stepdad and or my friends. If you guys do have any more questions on the setup or anything, just let me know and I'll be glad to go over it, or I can make another video on it. So thanks.